Hello friends, welcome. Friends, in the morning I recorded a video to predict the GDP numbers for FY25 Q1, which was supposed to be released today. So the numbers have come. So what I thought was is that let me just do a video to give you a sense as to how close the prediction was. There has been slight difference here and there, but if you look at the prediction is very, very close to what I recorded in the morning. And that is the reason I wanted to do this. I am doing this video to give you a sense. Now, this is if those who have seen my video in the morning will be aware of this chart. Anyway, if you have not seen, I will paste a link in the description. So this is an Excel sheet which I had created on the left hand side of your screen, and on the right hand side of your screen is the dashboard where the GDP numbers are posted on a time scale basis. So let me explain where we stand as per the quarterly release number. The numbers actually have been released. This is the press note. So if you go to the PIB website, you will be able to see the press note here. So the numbers are right here, so you can do the analysis yourself, right? So let's look at my dashboard and see where the differences were. So I'll just take my face out and I'll put it here right in the corner so that there is no confusion. And this is I require for pen, so I will take this down below. Okay. So let me just take my pen. So where is the forecast? So if you look at, I have only put the Q1 numbers of all the financial year because we are only interested in Q1. We are not interested in any other quarter because that's where the comparison is done. So if you look at FY24 Q1, the number was 40.92, right? Because we are talking about GDP constant. So here also the number FY24 Q1, because there has been slight rounding error, so this number comes out to be 40.9, right? So there is when you do the calculation addition, so there is some rounding error, so therefore this number is like that. Similarly, if you see FY23 Q1 number is 37.80, here the number is 37.81, again the rounding errors. Now the projected number was 43.71, right? That's what I predicted, right, in that video. And look at the number 43.64. Now 43.64 is the number. So what is the difference? Difference is minus 0.06. Minus 0.06. So this is the difference. So what I predicted in the morning when I recorded the video, the GDP growth of 6.88%. Now the growth number that came out, as an advanced estimate for the quarter of FY25 Q1 is 6.72%. Now let's compare the individual items where the predictions has been made and where we have gone wrong, because there have been certain discrepancy in my prediction, and that is to do with the real discrepancy number, this number discrepancy, and the import numbers. I was a little bit more, you can say, optimistic about India containing import, but India has not contained its import. Import has gone haywire. It has not really gone haywire, but it is almost, you can say, it is higher than what we saw in the FY24 Q1, and that's a significant concern. Our imports are increasing and exports are not growing at the rate where imports are increasing, and that is why our GDP numbers are getting subdued. So let's go one by one on the numbers. So we have what? Private final consumption expenditure. Again, in the time scale, I will show you that the FY24 Q1 number is 22.87. So here also you can see 22.87 number here. And then what I predicted in the morning was 24.15. And you can look at my video as to what kind of method that I use for making prediction. And the actual number is 24.57. So here I have gone a little wrong about around 50,000, around 42,000 crores. So looks like the private sector consumption has picked up a little bit better than what I have predicted, right? And I'll show you the growth number. Let's see the growth number in parallel. So here let me just drop down in the growth. So you will see that my prediction of private sector consumption number was, what was my prediction? My prediction was 6.9%. That's what I predicted. Here the number is 7.45%. Okay. So why did I do that? Because I actually saw a trend and then I did my prediction, but looks like the number is higher, and that's reflected in this number to 24.57, right? So you see here 7.45% of growth, right, on the private final consumption expenditure. Now let's look at the gross fixed capital formation. This is important because this is the government is spending. Government wants to do more and more capital formation, which is going to give more fillip to employment and further add to our GDP. Now this number I predicted at 7%. So I am not very off. This number is 7.47%, which the government has as per the estimate, and the difference is 14,000 crores. So here see negative 14,000 crores because my prediction was slightly higher, and so why did it go higher? Yeah, I think what is wrong in my prediction? There is something wrong which I have done. Oh, this is actual. Sorry, this is actual. Yeah, friends, actually I paused this video because I got a little confused. Because this number, let me just show you the number here. The 7% number is not matching with 7.47%. That's why I got a little confused. But this is a rounding of error because I have plugged in the number in lakh crores. So if you look at this number, you will be able to see. So let's do this. Let me just go here and see the value in lakh crore, and you will see the numbers are actually matching. So here it is 14.15 lakh crores. You will see 14.15 lakh crores here, and then 15.21 lakh crores here. Here also 15.21 lakh crores. So the numbers are matching, but because I have ignored many decimal places, therefore the percentage are showing as 7%, whereas I had predicted 8.5%. So there is a sluggish growth in capital formation, and that's why the difference is, my prediction is 14,000 crores. It may be slightly here and there and a rounding error, right? Now let's look at the other item, government final consumption expenditure, right? See, the government final consumption expenditure, if you see, my prediction is actually correct. It's like zero. If you see, the difference is zero. I predicted 4.15 and it is exactly 4.15. There is actually, if you see earlier, the number was roughly around, what was the number? 4.17, right? Again, there is a rounding of error here. If you see, 4.16 here. So I predicted 4.15. So you just forget about the rounding of error because I plugged in the number, right, without taking into consideration all the decimals. And that's why these numbers are becoming a slightly haywire, right? But if you look at it is zero, and the difference is zero. See, absolutely almost zero, right? That is, and that's why this is matching. Now CIS is a very, very small number. It does not matter. So what I did in the morning when I predicted on CIS, I put the number as same, 0.45, 0.45. It is slightly higher, so there is a difference of 0.03, right? Valuables doesn't matter. So if you look at valuable, there is a slight decrease. I had taken the same number, so there is a difference. So both these two will add up to zero. Now comes the main point of discussion, exports. Let's see how much I have gone wrong in export. So my prediction was 9.39 lakh crores. The government of India has done a little better, 9.5 lakh crores. So if you see here, export, earlier the number was 8.94 lakh crores, 8.94. So here again there is slight number difference from the point of view of rounding off, and then the number is 9.5 lakh crores. So 9.5 lakh crores is what the number the government has reported. So there is a enhancement of 11,000 crores which I have gone wrong. Discrepancy I had put zero because I had no clue how to calculate discrepancy, so I put the number zero. So in order to peg the GDP growth to a level which I found realistic, because I knew that from point of view of gut feel that the number is not going to go significantly higher as it was predicted, 7.2%. I felt the number would be roughly within 7% below. So I took a number of 6.88%, and I assumed that the imports will be slightly better means we will import less because of the data that was already released. But it is not like that, because imports actually have gone bad. You see that my prediction has gone wrong by 1.48 lakh crores, because I had made a prediction of 10.06 lakh crores of import, and the actual number was 11 point, if you see, 11.05 lakh crores. 11.05 lakh crores. My prediction was 10.06 lakh crores. And then the actual number is much worse than 11.06 lakh, 05 lakh crore. It is 50,000 more imports. So exports are higher by 11k, 11,000. Imports are higher by 50,000. Now you understand where the problem is. The problem is in these two numbers, which I have been talking in the morning video also. If you look at that video, you will be able to understand what is the problem, right? So these two numbers actually are creating problem for us, because our trade deficit, the trade deficit is a problem, and that's why our GDP is getting pulled down, because imports have to be negative. It has to be taken out in the GDP. And the discrepancy number, I assumed 0, right? The government of India has assumed a discrepancy number of 1.03 lakh crores. And that's why the number is now coming out to be 6.72% versus my prediction of 6.88%. So I have definitely gone wrong in imports and exports. Rest of the items, more or less, I am fine, except for the private sector consumption expenditure, where there is as per my estimate, the number should have been lower, but looks like that we have done better. And if you look at the private sector consumption expenditure growth, again, let me show you 7.45%. Now let's look at, since this part is over now, so the prediction part is over, and that is why when I was talking in the morning, when I was making my video, I made a very important point that it is very difficult to predict GDP. Those who claim that they can predict GDP with finest accuracy, they can't, because of this factor of discrepancy, because there are various methods of calculation of GDP, right? Income method, consumption method, and the data collections can be varied. How do you know when the data was collected? So there could be disparity in timing of collection of data. So if there is a disparity in timing of collection of data, who is making a prediction, how does it know what will be the discrepancy value? There is no way to predict the discrepancy value unless and until you are hands-on with the data. Real data is right in your hands. So it's very difficult to predict GDP just by looking at what past performance is, because you won't know what is going to be the real GDP based on the three methods which are used, which I explained in the morning, for estimating GDP. Now let's look at some of the other dimensions, which will be very interesting to look at, because we have some time, right, in this video. So let's look at the GVA part. And let's look at the absolute value of GVA. So you will find that in case of GVA, the growth of GVA has been 6.84%. So let me just take my pen again so that I can show you. 6.84% versus 8.26% in the last quarter of the financial year FY24, right? And the earlier quarter it was 11. It doesn't matter because the base was too low. So here also the base was too low because there was means that it was. Let me just show you the trend. I'm not saying the base was low. That's not the point. But if you look at this, you started with COVID, unnatural year, and slowly the numbers are getting matured as it was earlier. So the graph for maturity takes some time. So now the numbers are becoming more realistic. If you see here, let me again show growth. So you'll find that the growth numbers you see with roughly around 7%, right? See that numbers, 7%. There was one exception, 9.32%, but roughly the numbers are around 7%, and then finally the numbers went down. And then this number is falling in line what we saw in the earlier financial year, starting from FY13. Now let's look at the other line items. Agriculture, we are not doing very good. See, look at agriculture, where we stand. Our growth in agriculture is going down. Matter of concern. It's a huge matter of concern. Look at this number, the growing down. And what is the absolute value for agriculture? That also we should see. Let's look at the contribution of agriculture. Agriculture contribution is very significant, 5.32 lakh crores. It's a huge number. It's not a small number. The growth is lower because we haven't done very good in agriculture. Therefore, food production will be an issue. Growth is an issue. Food inflation is going to be an issue. That is a major point of concern. So we have to look into that aspect. And then let's look at the other, manufacturing. Now manufacturing, what we have done? We have done a little better here. It is 7.05% growth manufacturing. Mining, we have done better. It's not better. I think it is similar. 7.13 was last quarter. This quarter is also 7.13. But manufacturing, we have done better. The growth was 4.95 in the earlier quarter of FY24 Q1. This year we have done 7.05. Electricity and utilities, we have done significantly better compared to what we did in last quarter. Construction, we have done better. So secondary sector, all secondary sector we have done better. Trade, hotels, we have not done good. Financial services, we have not done good. Defense, etc., we can say around about same. But from an absolute point of view, what are the items which matter? Because that's where we need to be concerned about. What are those items? Financial service, 10.89 lakh crores. It matters. If it doesn't grow, our GPA gets impacted, and it impacts GDP also, because GDP is not just calculated in one single metric. It's calculated on basis. I told you consumption, and then there are income. There are other methods to calculate production. All this. So this is basically the production method we are talking about, right? And the consumption method is this one. So here, if you see here, the financial services, 10.89 lakh crores, very important. So here, if there is a dip, it's a matter of concern, right? And then trade, hotel, commerce is also 6.82 lakh crores. And manufacturing and trade and hotel is similar. So whatever we lost in trade and hotel, we have gained in manufacturing, and we haven't done very good in agriculture. So net, friends, you really understand. Export, import. Matter of concern. Our exports are growing, but imports are growing much faster than exports. So therefore, all the narrative that we are doing great as far as our in-country manufacturing, etc. is concerned, it is not commensurating in exports growth compared to what we are importing. Matter of concern. Then agriculture is a matter of great concern. If agriculture growth is down, we are not going to have a very good control over food inflation. Food inflation has to be contained. The growth has to be very important in agriculture, because more products, lesser inflation. So that has to be taken into consideration. Then we have financial services not growing at the same rate what you were going earlier. So friends, that's all, friends. I don't want to basically take much of your time, because these are the two items to discuss, the prediction and this, and I want to make it a very short video, because I generally don't record video at this time, but I did it in order to just give you a flavor as to what we saw in the number that was released just today, just now, maybe around 1 hour back. Okay, I'll just stop this video, and many thanks for watching till the end. I'll come back to you with a new video next time. Thank you very much.